And it's the last week for the month. Activities in both the equities and fixed income markets have been high. Earnings season is upon us. FGN bonds auction actually was Wednesday. And what should we expect in the month of May? Adedoyin Allen, AG Managing Director, AfriInvest Securities, joins us now. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks
Good
for
morning.
having me.
Good morning. So the equities market started the month of April on a negative note, despite impressive corporate results. But we saw the trend reserved last week. As this comes to an end, what do you see in the month of May?
Oh, okay, thanks. At the start of Q2 2021, which started with the month of April, sentiment in the market was largely negative as a lot of investors sold off their position across all sectors. And this was at the back of profit taking following the full year 2020 results we saw of most of the companies, especially on the bellwether stocks. Also, investors shifted focus to rising treasury bills as we observed the bi-monthly primary market auction conducted by the CBN, where yields on the 364-day tenor advanced 100 basis points over a three-period auction. However, we've seen that this trend, that's the negative trend, reversed due to the Q1 2021 earnings season again. Investors are taking position in fundamentally sound stocks like MTN, Dangote Cement, Zenith. And going forward, we're expecting more earnings release, and we expect investors to position in ahead of the release, and this will be the catalyst for market performance in the short run.
So with the new structure of the Nigerian Exchange Group, used to be NSE, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, what should be the quick wins to improve sentiment in the market?
Okay, we would expect that the Nigerian Stock Exchange collaborates with Securities and Exchange Commission to automate the e-dividend process at the point of stock purchase in the market. This will significantly reduce the number of unclaimed dividend in the market and also boost investors' sentiment.
All right. Rising the yield environment, keeps going up, and we actually expect low participation in the equities market because of these. Are there any silver linings?
Yes, there's always an opportunity in the equities market. While the fixed income yield continue to improve, investors are still faced with a negative real return. If you recall the composite headline inflation that was recently released by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics shows inflation at 18.2%. And this is still expected to rise due to volatility in logistic costs as well as the sustained farmer herders crisis experiencing, and also the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on food inflation still remains. So we expect local investors to continue to source for higher yields on fundamentally sound stocks in the equities market. In addition, the Q1 2021 earnings season is also here. Investors are also trying to position in fundamentally sound stocks in order to gain positive return on their portfolio.
All right, so the 1 month regulatory requirement for the submission of corporate results, we expect to see more results this week. What are your expectations for the companies?
Okay, yeah, we are largely positive. We have a positive outlook for most of the results expecting, especially on the industrial and banking sector stocks. And this is based on their performance in full year 2020. Also, there was a data on electronic payment channel released by the National Nigeria Bureau of Statistics for Q4 2020. We saw increase in the volume of transactions. These domestic banks are transacting. So with this, we expect that the results will be largely positive, and this would be the catalyst that will steer the market performance.
The sentiment on banking stocks have been really positive for a while. Now, what do you think is driving that? Why the interest? One would have thought the oil and gas would be the most interesting to investors.
Banking stocks are quite volatile. And like I said, the figure released by Nigerian Bureau of Statistics shows that there are a lot of increased participation in electronic payment channel, which will also improve the bottom line of the banks. And because most of these banks also declare dividend, and that's what most investors are particular about, earnings. So that's why we're seeing the traction in the banking sector.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
well, Dangote Cement, 100 billion naira bond book building is on. What are your expectations for this?
Yeah, we expect qualified investors to take interest in this corporate earning, and this is on the back of the recently closed MTN 7-year bond, which was issued at 13%. We saw a whole lot of investors' interest or indicate interest and participation in that bond. Risk-averse fixed income players continue to source for higher yields, and most of these corporate bonds, their yields are usually at a premium from the domestic secondary market listing. The Dangote Cement bond will be closing on Thursday. That's the 29th of April. It has three different tenors. That's the 3, 5, and 7-year tenor with yield guide ranging between 10.7 and 11.25 for the 3-year, 12.3 to 12.5 for the 5 years, and also 12.75 to 13% for the 7-year, which is obviously at a premium to domestic government bonds. So we expect, and it's also has a triple A rating by Moody. This is also to make it attractive for investors, and it's also going to be listed. So liquidity is also something that attracts major investors. So they don't have to hold till maturity. If they want to exit at any point, they can sell it off. So we're expecting a whole lot of savvy long-term investors to take position in this.
So the rising fixed income yields, do you see this impacting on corporate debt issuance?
Yeah, okay, yes. The rising fixed income yield, we've seen more corporates take short-term and long-term financing through the money market via commercial papers and bonds. And this is because the prime lending rate for bank is currently at 16%, which is far more expensive than what they would get in the market. And also most banks don't tend to give out long-term loans. So we expect more corporates to seek financing through the capital market.
So what's your general outlook? I mean, the month of April is ending. We're going to the month of May. What's your outlook for both markets in the month of May?
Yeah, the outlook for May is still going to be positive. Like I mentioned earlier, on the back of Q1 2021 earning release, investors are going to position ahead of this to take advantage of the rally in the market. While taking advantage, we encourage investors to position themselves in fundamentally sound stocks.
All right. Thank you so much, Adedoyin Allen, the Acting Managing Director of Afrinvest Securities Limited, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.